And at number 10, Blac, Chyna, and Rob Kardashian. This has to be one of the messiest celebrity relationships ever. Literally every aspect of it. Things were strange from the very beginning because there was a familial connection. Chyna and Tyga had been married and had a child together, but Tyga left Chyna for Kylie Jenner, Rob's half-sister. Immediately, the Kardashians thought that Chyna pursued Rob for the wrong reasons, but over time they got used to the relationship and even supported it. When the couple got pregnant, the Kardashians were in full support, until the relationship started to become incredibly toxic and things turned ugly. Both Rob and Chyna posted private conversations and photos of one another on the internet, and the pair are now in a massive legal battle. Chyna actually sued the entire Kardashian family for allegedly kicking her off the show. And at number 10, Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox. If you didn't already know, this couple met on the set of a movie called Midnight in the Switchgrass, as they co-starred in the film. And even though the film is responsible for their relationship, the couple hasn't been saying the greatest things about it. On the day of the movie premiere for the film, MGK tweeted out, quote, "If I don't talk or tweet about a movie I'm barely in, it's because it's trash emoji." Apparently Kelly has not posted about the movie at all ahead of its much anticipated release. Megan Fox also skipped out on the premiere. Her reps told People, quote, "Due to the recent California mask mandate and the rise of COVID cases, Megan Fox will no longer be attending the premiere tonight." However, I doubt both stars missing the premiere of the movie is a coincidence. Beginning our countdown, number 10 is Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. For the majority of their relationship, they were Hollywood's it couple. This was until photos started surfacing of them causing a scene in front of their children and other families at Legoland. They were enjoying a family day at the park when onlookers spotted them having an argument and started taking pictures and videos. You could see Brad grab Angelina's arm before she ripped her arm free and started yelling in his face. The argument must have been pretty intense because witnesses were saying that they later bumped into them, like later on in the day, and they were still arguing. The picture surfaced just one day after news broke that they were divorcing, so that didn't really help their case. Apparently though, the pictures were actually a year old at the point that they came out, but you know how the media will spin it. It just so happened to be the time that they got divorced. Up next, number 9 is Scott Disick and Kourtney Kardashian. People saw a fair share of their arguments on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which was enough for some to agree that they went too far. They argued a lot due to Scott's alcohol addiction, and their on and off relationship seemed more toxic than anything else at times. Paparazzi caught one of their fights while they were having lunch in Miami. Scott was seen waving his hands in the air and getting angry to a point where they ended up leaving the restaurant. An insider who was close to Scott revealed that he was on a downward spiral during that time, and they were arguing because Khloe, Kourtney's sister, stepped in to tell her that he had been drinking again. Starting us off at number 10 is Pete Davidson and Ariana Grande. Their relationship was a whirlwind and lasted less than 6 months total. Many people said they were taking things too far when they announced their engagement shortly after they started dating back in May 2018. Reports say it was exactly 24 days after they started officially dating. They were over the top with their engagement in the media, flaunting the news and doing televised interviews about it. They were just an over the top couple in general. Like the one time they caused a scene on the red carpet and ran away from the cameras. I don't know if you guys remember that. But the two of them split not long after their engagement because news broke that Ariana Grande's ex-boyfriend Mac Miller had passed away. Since then, she's gone on to make jokes about their engagement in her lyrics, and he's made jokes about her in his comedy Netflix special. So And at number 9, Chrissy Teigen and John Legend. This couple is incredibly controversial. A lot of people love the pair and think that they complement each other perfectly, but a lot more dislike them, especially Chrissy Teigen. Now that Chrissy has been officially cancelled off the internet and lost a lot of her followers as a result of her problematic behavior, fans are looking more critically at John. Many are wondering if John is similar to Chrissy behind the scenes and not as nice as he seems. I guess we'll have to wait and see for that one. Many people are also incredibly annoyed by the couple, specifically how they always try to seem so down to earth and relatable, when they actually live an incredibly lavish life that most people cannot relate at all to. And at number 9, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis shocked the world when they revealed that they don't bathe their kids unless they are visibly dirty. They revealed this on the Armchair Expert podcast, saying they only gave their kids baths as infants when they could, quote, see dirt on them, adding, quote, when I had children, I also didn't wash them every day. I wasn't that parent that bathed my newborns. Shepard agreed. adding that people, quote, should not be getting rid of their natural oil on their skin with a bar of soap every day. Chyna said the decision related to her poor upbringing, saying she didn't shower much as a kid. Cruising into number 8 is Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban. Another adorable Hollywood couple that surprised fans after they had a tiff on a red carpet. I feel like it's a rule of thumb that when you are doing a red carpet event, you leave your problems at the door, because if you don't, a camera is bound to catch you. Like, there is no way of escaping paparazzi on a red carpet event. And that is exactly what happened for these two. They had an awkward argument and camera captured Nicole giving Keith a look that every man does not want to see. Witnesses say they were dishing out insults to each other, but it didn't give away what the real cause of the argument was. The Daily Mail claimed that Keith was not happy because Nicole's career had gotten in the way of them spending time with their family in Australia. Their busy work schedules had kept them apart a lot, and it was just getting difficult for them to handle. Coming in next, number 9 is Sammy Sweetheart and Ronnie. Anyone who watched Jersey Shore knew how toxic these two were for each other, and their fights were too far pretty much every time. Before entering the Jersey Shore house, Ronnie said he had one rule, and that was to never fall in love at the Jersey Shore. But then he met Sammy and they quickly hooked up and started dating. It took no time at all for them to have a very hot and cold relationship. With a mix of alcohol, the temptation of other people, and 5 other roommates in the house, the two of them were always down each other's throats. Things got so bad that one fight led to Ronnie completely destroying her things and physically breaking her bed, trying to throw it off the top deck, and Sam was on it, like holding on for her life like a spider monkey. Basically all her stuff was completely ruined. And because of their past relationship and how toxic it was, Sammy is the only housemate that has not returned to do the reboot series, which happened 6 years after that. And at number 8, Justin Bieber and Hailey Baldwin. These two were on and off for a few years until they decided to officially get back together, then quickly get married. Since they got back together, Jelena shippers have tried to tear this couple apart. Fans also look very critically at their marriage and poke holes in whatever possible. However, the couple does give a lot of content that fuels these splitting rumors. The most recent thing that's raised eyebrows is this video going viral that looks like Justin is screaming at Hailey in public. From the video, it looks clearly like he is very angry with her. However, people that were there claim that's actually not what happened, and he was just trying to tell her a story, and I really hope that is the truth, because if he was yelling at her in public, that's just incredibly disrespectful. And at number 8, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Harry and Meghan are one of the most controversial couples ever, and their popularity is drastically different depending on where you ask. The couple were beloved in America and Britain until they decided to step back from their royal duties in 2020. Then they did their explosive interview with Oprah Winfrey, which completely tanked their approval ratings in Britain, with many Brits thinking the couple went too far and turned their backs on the royal family. According to a YouGov poll, 49% of Brits had a negative opinion of Harry, while only 43% had a positive view of him following the interview. Meghan was much worse. Only 29% of Brits liked her, while 69% did not. Many Brits also spoke out against the couple and condemned their decision to leave. Swiping the number 8 spot is Shia LaBeouf and Mia Goth. In the last 8 years, they've been on and off on numerous occasions with some pretty nasty splits. They were even married at one point, but then got divorced, and after being apart for 2 years, they came back together just a few months ago. To say their fights were bad is an understatement, and the only reason we know this is because one of them was caught on camera. In 2015, a year before their wedding, they had a huge fight in Germany, and the video footage of the argument went viral online. Some fans were there when it happened and filmed the entire thing, and then stayed with Shia after Mia left in a cab. Shia said to the people on camera if he didn't walk away when he did, then he would have killed her. Later in the video, he even talked to the fans about purchasing a gun in Germany. It was honestly scary stuff, you guys. After I watched the footage, I was like, this is not something to joke about. However, this was all around the time that he was going through an alcohol addiction and also had multiple run-ins with the law. But they are back together, so let's hope that is different this time around. Best of luck. And at number 7, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. When this couple got together, they were hated by the media because this union broke up the marriage between Brad and Jennifer Aniston. At first, they were hated, but then they seemed so in love, the public started to buy into their love story. That was until their divorce, when things got incredibly nasty between the couple, specifically the pair's custody battle over their children. Their divorce has actually been so drawn out that they needed to find a new judge to look over the case. As of now, Brad has been granted joint custody of the kids, much to Angelina's dismay. So it seems the legal battle will continue until Angelina gets what she wants. And at number 7, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. This couple, referred to as Bennifer, was huge back in the early 2000s. They started dating back in 2002 and were engaged months later. However, their romance did not last, and they ended up calling off their wedding only days before the ceremony. But following Jen's recent split from A-Rod, Bennifer is back on, and they are more in love than ever. Last week, a Hollywood insider told People that the duo is quote madly in love and are quote the loves of each other's lives, with another adding that they are doing everything possible to make things work out this time. Although the couple has lots of fans, they also have a lot of enemies. Many people think that both of them moved on too quickly from their last relationships and they're basically just rebounding with each other. Others even say they are doomed to the same fate as before. I guess time will tell with these two.
Sniping the number 7 spot is Jessica Simpson and John Mayer. It's easy to forget that they even dated back in 2006, but it is difficult to forget their epic balcony breakup. They dated for a year back in the day, but their on and off relationship was hard to keep up with, and sources called the relationship dysfunctional. One of their fights was caught on camera, and by the looks of it, Jessica was not having it. Whatever was going on, she was not into it. Apparently they were having a very heated argument during their vacation in Mexico, and the pictures actually captured them breaking up. After the images surfaced, it was confirmed that they split, but a source close to them told People that it was actually their 12th breakup. So no one really knew if they were serious or not. 12 breakups in a year? I mean, if that number's correct, you basically breaking up every month. That's crazy. Might as well just not even date. In spot number 7 is Courtney Cox and Johnny McDade. They first started dating in 2014 and were engaged just 6 months later before they called it off in 2015. So a lot happened in just 1 year. Some would say that getting engaged that soon and ending it that quickly after is already too far for a couple. But then they got back together the following year in 2016, and they have been together ever since. But shortly after they rekindled their relationship, the paparazzi caught them on different occasions fighting in public. One time a heated argument was caught while they were at a restaurant in West London. Every couple fights, let's be honest, but there seems to be a lot of on and off between them throughout the relationship. It just doesn't feel very certain. People have also wondered why they haven't gotten re-engaged by now or even married if things are going strong this time, because they've been together for a few years now. 4 years. Again, like after the first thing.
And at number 6, Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag. These two are one of the most hated reality TV couples ever because they betrayed their friend on TV. The worst part about this borderline evil couple is that they thought they were invincible, but quickly learned that that was not the case after the show ended. Because of their behavior on the show, they've been somewhat shunned from Hollywood, having to resort to D-level celebrity programming like I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. But one thing that holds true is their love for each other, and I guess the rest of the world hating on them has really brought them together. The two have remained married despite being both completely broke due to their frivolous spending in an effort to stay in the tabloids. And at number 6, Jason Oppenheim and Chrishell Stause. You may know Chrishell and Jason from the hit show Selling Sunset, where the co-workers' relationships were put to the test on screen. Well, it looks like the two are now dating, and the internet is going wild. While on the show, Chrishell got divorced from husband Justin Hartley, and it looks like she's found love again. What's even more interesting is that Jason did an interview with Page 6 and exclusively told the outlet that he most likely wouldn't date anyone who's a part of the show. However, that's clearly changed now. At the time, Jason said, quote, "I opened up another office in Newport Beach, so I'm stretched pretty thin right now. Dating is just not a priority for me right now." Is this a publicity stunt or the real deal? Guess we'll have to wait and see.
Rolling into number 6 is Jenna Dewan and Channing Tatum. When the two of them announced they were getting divorced, fans were devastated. But paparazzi had been warning media outlets for a while that the relationship had been struggling for some time. Photos surfaced not long before their announcement of them having an argument in a parking lot in Los Angeles. Apparently, Jenna was upset because Channing posted a racy picture of her on his Instagram. He posted a picture of her sleeping naked in bed and captioned it, "Nap time equals the best time." Obviously, you can't see like all her goodies, but like you can tell that she's naked. An eye-looker said that Channing was trying to explain himself to Jenna, but she was just ignoring him and staring at her cell phone instead. We're moving on to number 6, and we have Kim Kardashian and Kris Humphries. Before Kanye West and Kim took over the media, Kim was once married to Kris Humphries for a whopping 72 days. We got to see a closer look at their relationship because everything was filmed for their reality show Keeping Up with the Kardashians. They were often spotted fighting. Even just before Kim filed for a divorce, the paparazzi caught them fighting and having a huge argument in a car in LA. She yelled at him and left him to find his own ride home. Footage from her reality show Kim and Kourtney Take New York also showed footage of Kim punching Kris. She described it as playful banter, but others started to deem it as domestic violence, and she faced a ton of backlash for it.
Halfway number 5, Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez. This on and off relationship was incredibly messy, and it kinda still is, even though they're not actually together anymore. They started out as teens in love, and it blossomed into a mature relationship. But during their off periods, they didn't hold back their dislike for the other. One time, Gomez ripped up a fan poster reading "Marry Justin Please" at one of her concerts. Also, Selena and Justin got into a public feud when Justin started posting photos of Sofia Richie on his Instagram, making it clear that him and Selena were not together anymore. Now that Justin has moved on to Hailey, the public has started a love triangle between the three of them. It seems that no matter what more happens, Justin and Selena will always be linked together. Halfway number 5, Massimo Giannulli and Lori Loughlin. This celebrity couple got intense backlash after it was revealed that they bribed their children's way into University of Southern California. The crime, now called the college admissions scandal, involved the couple paying $500,000 to consultant William Rick Singer to get their daughters Olivia Jade and Isabella Rose into the University of Southern California as fake rowing team recruits. There were even photos released showing the girls using rowing equipment, proving they were involved in the decision to cheat. Both parents were charged in the scandal and got time in prison. Lori Loughlin served 2 months in prison, while her husband Massimo served 5 months along with various fines. The couple's image has not recovered from the scandal, as many cannot believe that they decided to cheat while they are already in such a privileged position.
Halfway through our list is Kirsten Dunst and Garrett Hedlund. They met on set back in 2010 when working on the film On the Road. You wouldn't have thought anything about the relationship at first because they came across as a happy, normal couple. But one of their fights got a little out of control at a movie theater, and the paparazzi captured the whole thing. They were technically heading into a movie theater when they started arguing, and witnesses say they were yelling at each other but tried to yell more quietly after they noticed that people were listening. Their relationship lasted for 4 more years after this fight before they called it quits, and sources say that they were rocky for a while and had a lot of differences when it came to goals and personalities. They said that they weren't on the same page when it came to their future. So this whole movie theater thing just seems like a little snippet in the whole story. We've made it halfway through the countdown, and we have Jessie Nelson and Jake Roche. Jessie was having the time of her life while at the release party for her girl group Little Mix. They were releasing their album called Get Weird, but by the end of the party she was left in tears after a huge fight with her fiance. They got into a heated argument during the event, causing Jake to leave, and Jessie sitting in a car with mascara running down her face. The end of the argument was caught on camera because tons of paparazzi were there for the event, and Jessie had a breakdown right in front of them. Turns out that Jake went to a local hotel alone, and she took a cab back to her hotel. But it seemed like they were able to shake it off very quickly because hours into the next morning they posted this affectionate photo on social media. To me, honestly, it just feels like a cover-up. I feel like people post a happy picture after an argument to like confirm like we're okay when they're not.
And at number 4, Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow. This couple, specifically Gwyneth, was called out for being one of the most pretentious of all time. One thing that got them in a lot of heat was their quote conscious uncoupling. This was a new term that they invented to describe their divorce. They also named their daughter Apple, which got them even more heat in the press. Now that the couple is apart, many still express their dislike of Gwyneth because she has not toned down her pompous lifestyle. She's been mocked in the past for selling a candle that smells like her vajayjay, as well as an egg that's also supposed to go inside of a woman's private area for some reason. And at number 4, Kelly Clarkson and Brandon Blackstock. People are outraged following a new court decision that states that Kelly Clarkson will be forced to pay her ex-husband $200,000 a month in support. The decision is set to start April 1st, and the funds are $150,000 in spousal support, as well as an additional $45,000 in child support for their 2 kids. Not only that, but Kelly is also being forced to pay her husband's legal fees, which amount to $1.25 million. Apparently this is all fair because Kelly makes roughly $1.5 million in income per month, and the judge believes $200,000 is a fair share of her earnings. Following the divorce, her ex-husband Blac says he will be giving up his career as an entertainment manager and is pursuing a full-time career as a rancher on his Montana property. This order from the judge comes after Kelly requested that she be declared legally single among her ongoing divorce from Blac, and this decision has received a lot of backlash in the media.
Coming into number 4 is Simon Cowell and Lauren Silverman. Their relationship was a huge scandal, seeing as she was married to Simon's best friend, Andrew Silverman. But she got involved with Simon and ended up becoming the mother to their son, Eric. Though they have a beautiful family, their relationship hasn't always been roses and daisies. Some would say that their entire relationship was too far since Simon betrayed his best friend in order to have it. But they argued a lot about trust issues, and reports claimed that Lauren had an issue with Simon remaining close with some of his ex-girlfriends. Paparazzi captured them having a heated argument in the back of their SUV where they were screaming at each other and Laura was in tears. I mean, we've all had some kind of heated argument about trust issues, I'm sure, but it's a lot harder to hide it when there's paparazzi following you around. Rolling into number 4 is Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber. It's hard to forget the constant on and off relationship they once had for many years. They started dating when they were young, so we could make more excuses that time around, but then they tried to rekindle the flame in 2012. TMZ reported that they went out on a dinner date and Selena left just 10 minutes in because of something Justin said, and when he tried to go to her house later, apparently she refused to let him in. Then, in 2014, they got into a public argument at an airport and she was seen stomping out of a van and throwing her purse on the ground. Justin refused to get out of the car for some time and they went through the airport separately. It's safe to say that it might be for the best that they didn't end up together, even though a lot of fans were really rooting for them. I was. At one point.
And at number 3, Shepard and Kristen Bell. This couple is either beloved or hated depending on who you ask. When talking to those that despise the couple, it seems that they like each person very much, just not them together. Apparently their detractors think they go overboard with the PDA and shove it down everyone's throats for publicity. The pair also appears in commercials and sponsorships as a pair, flaunting their family at every turn. On top of that, they have a tendency to overshare things that the public probably just doesn't need to know about. One example of this was when Kristen told Jimmy Kimmel that Dax had a vasectomy. And at number 3, Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker. These two have been hot and heavy since they started dating. At first everyone was incredibly happy that both of them found love, especially Kourtney, considering she went through hell with her last long-term partner, Scott Disick. But since it's now been months and the PDA has not slowed down, fans are just starting to get really annoyed. Recently a video was leaked showing the pair at breakfast, with Kourtney straddling Travis at the table. Many felt this was way overboard and was completely inappropriate to do in public. Some comments on that post read, quote, "You can't tell me this isn't a publicity stunt when they're acting like 13-year-olds. Another fan commented, quote, "Come on, some PDA is fine, but this is too much. You never know if children are around either." Let me know your thoughts on this one below.
In our 3rd spot is Bradley Cooper and Irina Shanks. This is a perfect example of if looks could kill. The couple had people talking after they attended the Wimbledon men's final back in 2016. They were dressed to the dime and sitting in a crowd of people when they had a tense argument which happened to get caught on camera. The drama unfolded as the tennis match went on and the camera just panned across the crowd. One cameraman fixated on Irina, who was giving nasty looks at Bradley. Like literally, looks could kill, man. Someone sitting close to them told US Weekly that he whispered in her ear and she started wiping away tears from her eyes. Of course, the footage blew up on social media and people were quick to point out that if they had an issue, they should have just left. In the 3rd spot is Beyonce and Jay-Z. They seem to have successfully pulled through a rough patch in their marriage after Jay-Z admitted to cheating on her. But there was a time when people thought they were not gonna make it after pictures were surfacing of them fighting in public during a dinner. But these pictures came right after an infamous elevator fight between Jay-Z and Beyonce's sister, which was all caught on camera. The surveillance footage from an elevator captured her sister physically attacking Jay-Z, and fans thought it was about the cheating scandal that had gone on. The whole thing was really intense and it actually caused a lot of chaos in the media and in their marriage, I'm sure. Beyonce released her album Lemonade shortly after all of this, which basically confirmed the affair publicly and how they chose to work through it.
And at number 2, Cardi B and Offset. These two are another tumultuous couple that people love to hate, and we know way too much about their relationship because it seems that Cardi shares it online whenever she can. This couple had gotten engaged, then broke up, then got back together and had a child together, then Cardi revealed that she was filing for divorce. But the pair got back together and even have a second child now on the way. Throughout their relationship, it's been revealed that Offset cheated a number of times. Apparently, the cheating was the cause for a lot of the breakups. And now that the couple is back together, many of Cardi's fans are not happy and think she should be with someone that treats her right. Cardi even deactivated her Twitter at one point because she was flooded with fans telling her to leave Offset. She responded in a long rant, saying in part, quote, "If I work things out, why are you going to Offset's Twitter to harass him?" Adding, quote, "A bunch of 15-year-olds telling me how to live my life like a mother effing Ariana Grande or something," finishing off that she does whatever she wants to do and she's not at the mercy of her fan base. But obviously her fans just want the best for her. And at number 2, Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton. This couple got a lot of attention for their decision to wear necklaces containing the other's blood on a red carpet. Media outlets even claim the necklaces contain vials of their blood. But years later, Thornton says that the whole thing was blown out of proportion. He says it was just a simple idea that the pair pricked their fingers and smeared some blood in the necklaces so they would have it while they were away from each other. Adding, quote, "It was that easy. But by the time it came out in the press, it sounded like we were wearing a bucket of blood around our necks." Apparently Angelina thought it would be romantic and similar to how parents wear a locket with their baby's hair in it. Honestly, I still think this one is really strange though.
Making their way into number 2 is Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner. These pictures actually broke my heart because Jennifer looks so heartbroken and sad. Photos were captured of them arguing in their car after they dropped off their 3 kids at school. Things got so intense that Jennifer was brought to tears. I mean, what could you possibly be fighting about at 8 AM in the school parking lot with a bunch of other teachers and parents surrounding your car? Yeah. I don't get it. An onlooker told In Touch, "There was a lot of gesturing and it seemed intense. Jen looked really upset, like she was crying. Ben seemed both detached and at other times he was reaching out to her." Apparently, no tea, no shade, but they had issues for a while, which is why they announced their separation in June 2015. Why they got separated was, rumor has it, that Ben had cheated with their former nanny. So that would have me crying at 8 AM in my school parking lot if that was, connected. Sniping number 2 on our list is Emma Roberts and Evan Peters. I never followed this couple much, but everything I did see of them in the media was always bad, so I just knew of them for being very toxic. They were together for a long time. They started dating after they met on set in 2012, and only a year into the relationship, Emma was arrested on domestic battery charges. A fight broke out between them, and it resulted in Evan getting a bloody nose. Camera caught them having a brutal argument at a Comic-Con party in 2014, where Emma was crying and screaming at Evan in the midst of a large group of people. Then, down the road in 2017, there were cheating rumors going around about Emma with another actor, Hayden Christensen, and they were spotted fighting again in public. Honestly, there's just way too many fights to name, but domestic battery charges is enough to land them on this list.
And finally, number 1, Anthony Weiner and Uma Abdian. This couple had a very rocky relationship because politician Anthony Weiner was doing too much gross and illegal stuff to even name in this video. The high-powered couple were doing great in their careers together, but everything changed in 2017 when Weiner was sentenced to 21 months in prison for sending images to a teenager. But that's not even the tip of the iceberg when it comes to his extracurricular activities. He accidentally tweeted out a photo of his crotch to all of his followers, along with sending nude images of himself to a handful of other women. At first, Uma stood by her husband, but in 2018, the two divorced. In a crazy twist of fate, Uma would go on to work for Hillary Clinton. The Clinton email scandal would later be exposed because of the ties that Clinton had to Weiner through her trusted advisor, Uma. And finally, number 1, Tommy Lee and Britney Furlan. This couple is pretty wild, and they're known for making fans a little uncomfortable. This was the case recently when Britney revealed that her and Tommy are being haunted by a ghost. Britney shared this on her TikTok. In the video, she told her trash can to open up if a spirit was present. At first, nothing happened, but then the trash can opened to the shock of Tommy Lee. Britney then explained that they are renting this place while their home is going through some renovations, and they recently learned that the man that lived there before them died of a heart attack in the house. After this, she started addressing the spirit as Tom, and the spirit was much more responsive. Tommy can be heard yelling, quote, "What is happening, dude?" before covering his eyes in disbelief.
Earning the number 1 place is Charles Saatchi and Nigella Lawson. This one caused some serious chaos online when photos of an argument started to go viral. Their marriage has always been high profile, and one of their fights was captured as they were dining on Mount Street in London. A photographer spotted them and started to snap pictures, and one of them was enough to lead them to divorce. The photographer captured and witnessed Charles grabbing Nigella's throat. He said, "I saw her lurch violently backwards. I thought Charles was demonstrating something. It lasted about 30 seconds. Then he did it a second time. It was so violent with such force that her head snapped backwards." A month after this incident, they announced that they were getting a divorce. Rightfully so. I would have just swung. I honestly, seeing those pictures, it just makes me want to get in there. Finally, at number 1, we have Chris Brown and Rihanna. If you already know the story between them, then you would understand why they are taking number 1 on this list. I mean, what a nightmare that whole thing was. At one point, they were one of the cutest couples in Hollywood, but then things went horribly wrong when Chris laid his hands on Rihanna, causing injuries both physically and mentally. People will never forget the fight between them that happened at the Grammys in 2009 when they had a screaming match inside a rented car, which ended up turning violent. Photos of her battered face went viral, and Chris was later charged with assault. Even after the fight, they did continue to date, which really surprised people. They were on and off between 2012 and 2013, but then they finally realized that they could not maintain a healthy relationship.
Starting off this countdown, we have Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher. This celebrity couple met on set of That 70s Show. They were a couple on screen and eventually off screen as well. In fact, Mila said that her first real kiss was with Ashton Kutcher, and now they're happily married with 2 kids, Wyatt and Dimitri. But I'm sure you have heard about the controversy recently involving them and their kids. While appearing on an episode of Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert podcast, the topic somehow got onto bathing, and they revealed that they weren't too concerned on bathing their kids. Mila said, and I quote, "I wasn't that parent that bathed my newborns." Kutcher continued on saying, and I quote, "If you can see the dirt on them, clean them. Otherwise, there's no point." This caused an uproar, and people started hating on the couple for not taking care of their kids properly. I personally love the two. It's cute how they went from dating in the show to dating in real life to then getting married. And honestly, they are great people and parents from what I can see. Moving on at number 9, we have Katy Perry and Russell Brand. This relationship had toxic written all over it. So the pair first met at the MTV Video Music Awards in 2008. After 3 months of dating, Brand proposed to Katy while vacationing in India. But this relationship had a number of problems. Apparently, they would get into fights about everything, from her partying to when they were going to have children to his stand-up jokes. You get it. Not only that, but apparently Brand was often jealous of Perry's success and felt like he was living in her shadow. In Katy Perry's Part of Me documentary, it showed her curled up and crying in her dressing room on a number of occasions after having fights with Brand. Katy also called him controlling. In the end, Brand broke it off with her through a text message and said that his relationship with Katy was boring and compared it to being on a diet of white rice. That's rude. So people were open to the relationship at first, but as months passed, they were not here for it at all. They didn't like how they got married so fast and knew he didn't treat her the best. Moving on to number 8, we have Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Sam Taylor-Johnson. Now the reason why this couple received so much hate is because of their age difference. So the pair met on set of the film Nowhere Boy in 2008. Aaron played the lead and Sam was the director. A year later, the two were engaged. But Aaron was 18 at the time that they met and Sam was 42. With a 24-year age gap, fans were thinking the worst about Sam and her intentions with Aaron. Years later, the couple are still going strong. In fact, just recently they both got tattoos on the left side of their chest with each other's name on it. So, suck it haters, sorry, but this pair is here to stay. In our 7th spot, we have Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. Talk about a controversial relationship. This relationship had drama written all over it. So apparently the two first got together in 2012 while Kim was still in the middle of getting her divorce with Kris Humphries all figured out. Then in December of 2012, Kim revealed that she was pregnant and the two were expecting their first child together. Fast forward to now. The pair now has 4 children together and their marriage is rocky. According to the Keeping Up with the Kardashians show, the pair have been fighting for a while. From fights over Kim refusing to give Kanye a band-aid, to Kanye feeling neglected, to him not liking her Met Gala dress, saying it's far too revealing, you name it. They would fight several times a day, but the final straw apparently was a couple months ago when Kanye started acting more erratic. He accused Kim and Kris on Twitter and exposed that him and Kim were contemplating having an abortion when she was pregnant with North West. Honestly, people were concerned about the relationship and their clashing egos from the start.
start. And rumor has it that Kim was preparing the divorce papers since 2018. Moving on to number 6, we have Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra. Another very attractive couple, but they have received a lot of hate. The pair first started talking in 2016 after Nick slid into her Twitter DMs. How romantic. But it took 2 years before the two made it official in May of 2018 after confirming that they were dating. After just 2 months of dating, yes, 2 months, Nick proposed. By December of that year, they were married. No one was expecting that. It all happened way too fast. In fact, some people believe that they aren't even a real couple. It's all just for show. They also have received hate for their age gap. Priyanka is 36 and Nick is 26. Again, love is love despite age, but whatever. Not only that, people think they married each other just to boost their brands. But what do you think about the relationship? Are you here for it or not? We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with Beyonce and Jay-Z. I think people hate this pair because they think that Beyonce can do way better, especially after Jay-Z admitted to cheating on her. Like, you're with Beyonce! She's gorgeous and talented, why would you ever cheat on her? Anyways, the pair seemed to hit a rough patch in 2014 after Beyonce's sister got in a fight with Jay-Z and punched him in an elevator after the Met Ball. The footage was soon leaked and people were like, ooh, what did Jay-Z do? Later it was revealed that the fight was because of Jay-Z's affair with Rachel Roy. People were like, Beyonce doesn't deserve this. No one cheats on our queen. And that's why people don't like them together. Moving on to number 4, we have Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber. Okay, here we go, folks. Hardcore Jelena superfans were outraged when Justin Bieber and Hailey Baldwin got together. For them, Hailey was getting in the way of Justin and Selena getting back together. They just refused to accept that they both have moved on. Apart from the Jelena shippers, others aren't too fond on how Justin treats Hailey. In April of 2021, Justin and Hailey were caught by the paparazzi going to a cafe. When they arrived, Justin gets out of the car and then slams the door in Hailey's face. Awkward. Another time, the pair were on Instagram Live together, and he told Hailey to back off and stop touching him after she gave him a hug. So people were getting snappy saying the two are not a good pair for each other, that he needs to treat Hailey better. In our 3rd spot today, we have Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello. I think most of the hate that this couple receives is from die-hard Mendes fans that are mad that he's taken because they thought that they had a shot with him. Anyways, the pair were first photographed together at the 2015 VMAs. They then met again the same year at the iHeartRadio Music Festival in Las Vegas. And that's when she went into his dressing room to say hi and talk. The cuties made it official in, I believe, 2019. And they are apparently still going strong. But the pair did receive some backlash in February of 2021 when Mendes posted a picture of Camila on Instagram for Valentine's Day. In the photo, he was kissing her foot, and the comments on this photo were harsh. They were calling him disgusting and their relationship cringy. Yikes. In our 2nd spot, we have Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell. Honestly, my mom and dad. They're both talented actors and they're hilarious. But unfortunately, the pair has received their fair share of hate. First off, the two are very open about their relationship. In September of 2020, the two shared a story and photo on Instagram that had a lot of people shocked. It shows him and Belle in a car and she's bent over a bottle. Turns out she was actually peeing in this bottle, which, I mean, for a girl to do, that's hella impressive. He captioned the photo on Instagram and I quote, "The most important part of this photo isn't that my bride at Kristen Annie Bell is peeing in the car. It's that the car is 36 hours old. So much disrespect that I almost have to respect it." People were like, okay, why would they tell us this? TMI. Belle went on to explain that she doesn't F with public restrooms during a pandemic. Then we have the beer controversy. Dax was struggling with his addiction on and off. So he doesn't drink beer, but he does enjoy a good old non-alcoholic beer. Apparently, they let their daughters drink it too. I know it's non-alcoholic, but their kids are 6 and 8, and it doesn't seem like the most appropriate thing for them to be drinking. So people got mad at them for that as well. And of course, they also admitted that they don't regularly bathe their kids as well. I mean, I love them together, screw the haters. And in our number 1 spot today, we have Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly. They are a good looking couple, not gonna lie. But their behavior at the VMAs on September 12th was just downright cringy. It all started during Megan's interview with Entertainment Tonight. She was talking about Machine Gun Kelly and how he helped pick out her outfit. She said, he was like, "You're gonna be naked tonight." And I was like, "Whatever you say." She then continued on, calling him daddy, and then said, "Whatever daddy says." That's not all though. The interviewer asked her if the two would be collaborating in Machine Gun Kelly's future music videos, and she said, and I quote, "He's not allowed to have other hoes in his music videos. It's the queen or nothing." Alright then. Then of course the two were all over each other during the event, touching and kissing each other, you name it. Another cringy moment for the pair was when Megan posted a photo of herself on Instagram from their Airbnb the two were staying at. The caption was, "When I tell you that the table at this Airbnb saw some things." Machine Gun Kelly replied with, "I'm glad that's not our table." So we all know what they did on that table, okay? But come on, we don't need to know about it.
At number 10, Cardi B and Offset. Cardi and Offset have been on and off for so long, and people honestly wonder why they're even still together. They've gone through their share of rough patches, specifically infidelity. Though they've been married for over 3 years and have 2 kids together, that apparently hasn't stopped Offset from seeking comfort elsewhere, and Cardi even filed for divorce from Offset in 2020 because of his infidelity, though they later got back together after he spoiled her for her birthday, buying her a $300,000 car and dedicating a billboard to her. Offset has had a number of cheating scandals over the course of his relationship with Cardi. In 2018, about a year after the couple got married in secret, Offset faced rumors that he had cheated on Cardi and even allegedly made an adult film with another woman. Back in 2020, he faced even more cheating scandals where it was rumored that he even fathered a child during this affair. A lot of people say that this is a toxic relationship, but they keep coming back to each other, and that's why people don't like them. They are toxic, and people say that they're just hurting each other and themselves by staying together. At number 9, Joe Exotic and John Finlay. With the success of the Tiger King documentary on Netflix last year, a surprising amount of people became temporarily obsessed with the lives of those who were showcased on the show. Joe Exotic and the others involved in his life became public figures, and there are a number of people who are still interested in their lives, specifically in their relationships. One of the relationships showcased in the show was the marriage between Joe and his ex-husband, John Finlay. John recently came forward to talk about his life after the documentary brought him some minor popularity, and he exposed his former relationship with the now imprisoned Big Cat owner and exposed his marriage. John cannot express enough how regretful he is of his marriage to Joe Exotic. John said that his whole marriage was fake and that it was just for Joe's popularity, remarking that the wedding that was shown in the documentary, which showed him, Joe, and Travis Maldonado, was all, quote, basically a publicity stunt so that Joe could get his own reality TV series. John spoke out saying that he still carries the pain from his time with Joe, and fans have expressed how much they disliked their marriage because of how much pain John was put through. After hearing John's testimony, it kinda makes it easy to hate them too. Now before I carry on talking about more celebrity couples that people aren't too thrilled about, I would first like to take a moment to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also maybe consider subscribing to see more videos like this one. At number 8, Madonna and Guy Ritchie. Even though this relationship ended about a decade ago, that doesn't stop people from hating the time that Madonna and Guy Ritchie were together. The two were married in a very toxic relationship for almost a decade, but their distaste for one another has lasted much longer. And because of this negativity, they, as well as their fans, no doubt regret them ever being married in the first place. It seems like their marriage turned sour because Madonna was trying to work so hard in her career, and so things became strained between them and the hostility began to grow. Coming out of the divorce, the worst of it started to come out. Guy made a lot of harsh comments about his marriage to Madonna, comparing his relationship to the singer to a soap opera, and also said that she was more concerned with her public image than she was with their marriage. Madonna has fired back at her ex in the past, saying that she felt like she was incarcerated during their marriage and that Guy was nothing but a gold digger. There's just a whole lot of drama there, which really shows that they weren't a good match at all. The way that they spoke about each other in the media just made people really hate them because neither of them deserved that kind of negativity in their lives. At number 7, Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson. I am sure you can guess why people don't like these two. Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson have had a very difficult relationship. Things were apparently toxic from the very beginning, since it was believed that Tristan was cheating on his ex with Khloe when they first got together, so the infidelity in their relationship was apparent from the get-go. A lot of people saw the red flags from the beginning, but that didn't stop them from trying to make things work, even after Khloe got pregnant with Tristan's baby. Shortly after their daughter True was born, photos of Tristan appearing to cheat were leaked, and TMZ leaked footage from 2017 showing Tristan kissing women at a club. This was a huge deal, especially as this all came out around the time of their daughter's birth, but what surprised a lot of people is how quickly Khloe got over it. Things mostly died down after a few weeks, but later on in 2019, more cheating allegations came out detailing how he had been cheating on Khloe again, this time with their longtime family friend Jordyn Woods. This whole toxic mess had a lot of people hating on the both of them, and since they've apparently gotten back together, even more people have jumped on the hate bandwagon trying to get them apart for good. At number 6, Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick. Another Kardashian relationship that a lot of people hate is that between Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick. Though they're no longer a couple, they still have a family together, and that doesn't take away from their rocky relationship beforehand. Some people consider their relationship to be the most toxic Kardashian coupling. Kourtney and Scott had been on and off again since 2006, and even though they've broken up so many times, they just couldn't seem to distance themselves from each other enough. The pair co-parent their 3 kids, but they also cause a lot of drama whether they're together or not. In the past, Scott has cheated on Kourtney, and even when they were broken up, has said that he's dated other women, specifically those much younger than him, only to make Kourtney jealous, which is pretty toxic behavior. Kourtney and Scott also struggled with Scott's substance abuse problem, with Kourt going so far as to tell Scott that if he didn't get help, she wouldn't allow him to see their kids, and for a long time, Scott refused to get help. Things finally ended for good in 2015 when Scott was accused of cheating with one of his exes, and Kourtney just had enough of his infidelity. From that point, they haven't been in an official relationship, but they haven't kept their distance either. Kourtney is currently in a relationship with Travis Barker and seems to be really happy, so hopefully she's moved past her drama with Scott and can live peacefully, because no one likes them together and she deserves better. At number 5, Rob Kardashian and Blac Chyna. Continuing on with horrible Kardashian relationships, we have the toxic pairing of Rob Kardashian and Blac Chyna. Though their relationship was pretty short-lived, they were still messy, toxic, and very public, and a lot of people really hated them together. The two got together in January 2016, and just a few months later in April of that year, they announced their engagement, and fast forward to November 2016, they welcomed their daughter Dream into the world. Things ended as quickly as they started, and by February of 2017, they announced that they had split after trying to make things work for the sake of their daughter. During their relationship, they showed fans a glimpse into their lives as part of their reality show, Rob and Chyna, and during this time, sources said that they fought a lot, their actions were fueled by anger and revenge, and there was even allegations of domestic altercations. This toxicity wasn't just exclusive to their relationship, however, as it also bled into the Kardashian family as well. It was just really messy and negative, and a lot of fans hated them together. At number 4, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Though they became a well-liked couple after a while, at the beginning of Brad and Angelina's relationship, they were pretty hated because of how they got together. Before Brangelina, Brad and Jennifer Aniston were a couple. After 2 years of dating, they got married in 2000 on a bluff in Malibu. Things were okay until Angelina came into the picture after she and Brad met while working on Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Fast forward to 2005 and throw in some cheating speculation, and Brad and Jennifer were done. They filed for divorce, making room for Brangelina. It was a whirlwind breakup because of cheating scandals, as Angie became the other woman of sorts, and even as things died down over the years, tabloids would still bring up this drama from time to time, almost making it seem as though things weren't exactly over for this unfortunate love triangle. It took a while for people to warm up to Brad and Angelina, and they were pretty hated by a lot of Jennifer Aniston's fans. At number 3, Emma Roberts and Evan Peters. American Horror Story stars Emma Roberts and Evan Peters had a very tumultuous relationship that unfolded in the public eye, and a lot of people were not here for it. Though they have both since moved on from each other, there was a time when their toxic relationship took over their lives and fans hated it. They started dating in 2012 and had their shares of ups and downs, breakups and makeups, until they officially ended things in 2019. Their relationship had its faults. People say that their attitudes towards each other would change a lot, going from having a lovely time together to not speaking to each other for days. In 2013, they faced a scandal after Emma was arrested after the couple got into a heated argument that turned physical. Though the incident left Evan with a bloody nose, they tried to move past it and carry on with their relationship. They weren't at all a good couple, and a lot of fans knew that too. Many of them were relieved when they broke up because they didn't deserve that negativity and toxicity in their lives. At number 2, Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears. Even though people loved this couple in their heyday, after Justin Timberlake was exposed this year after the truth came out about his toxic relationship and breakup with Britney Spears back in the early 2000s, people switched gears and started to really hate their time together. The Framing Britney Spears documentary that was released took a deep dive into the way that the pop star was portrayed in the media, from paparazzi to interviews. A big part of that documentary explored Justin Timberlake's role in the media's mistreatment of Britney. After their relationship ended, Justin made Britney look like the villain in the relationship, accusing her of cheating and essentially weaponizing their breakup just to boost his career. The media went on a frenzy, blaming and shaming her when she really didn't deserve it, and it really affected her life. People's eyes were opened into just how toxic their relationship and subsequent breakup was, and a lot of sympathy has been given towards Britney as the truth has finally come out about the whole thing. The narrative was just switched and people grew to hate Justin Timberlake for how things ended between him and Britney. And finally at number 1, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Now this one is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, we all know why we hate the relationship that Amber and Johnny had. Though the narrative has been changed following the knowledge that we now have about what really happened between them, the bottom line is that people hate the fact that they were ever together. There were instances of physical turmoil as well as verbal and emotional as well, and finding out about this opened a lot of people's eyes. We found out about how Amber had been cheating on Johnny and how she allegedly went out of her way to outshine him in the industry, always being ready to make big headlines to overshadow him. This toxic relationship went on far too long, showing us that the toxicity ran deep and made a mess of everything. At number 10, Eminem and Kim Mathers. When it comes to back and forth celebrity relationship drama, fans can get really tired of it after a while, so that could be the reason why people hated it when Eminem and Kim were together. Rapper Eminem, aka Marshall Mathers, has had a rocky relationship with his ex-wife Kim Scott, and it's sort of been that way since the very beginning. They first met in the late 80s when Marshall was 15 and Kim was 13, and they became pretty dependent of each other from the start. They lived together at his family home and later began a romantic relationship, moving in together and having a daughter. After years of being an on and off again couple, the two got married shortly before Marshall's first major tour. It was then that Kim saw Marshall and their relationship as imperfect, and she started to doubt whether she wanted this type of life for herself. Kim said that after the tour, Marshall got a big ego and he started treating her as someone not worthy of his love and presence because he was a big star. Kim also alleged that her husband had been cheating on her. The rapper's career had a very negative effect on their relationship, and so 2 years after tying the knot, they got divorced. They did get back together again briefly, but that ended again. This drama made a lot of fans' heads spin, so it's no wonder why people have negative things to say about these two. At number 9, Janet Jackson and James DeBarge. Now I'm not sure if everyone hated this relationship, but there was certainly one person in particular who really did not approve. Janet Jackson experienced her first taste of married life when she was only 18 years old when she married James DeBarge in 1984, but their marriage only lasted about a year. Before getting married, they were pretty good friends, and Janet had been friends with James since she was 13 years old. It seems as though they had been in love for a while, and so they took the first opportunity they had to get married. Though Janet's father Joe did not approve of the marriage, they went through with it anyway and were together for 15 months. After they split up, there had been a rumor swirling around that alleged that Janet and James had a child, but they gave it up for adoption in order to save their careers and public image after James brought all of this up in 2016. It's never been proven, but it still remains a wild theory. Janet eventually ended up getting their marriage annulled because of James' substance abuse as it began to take a toll on their relationship. I would imagine that Janet's dad also played a role in getting this marriage annulled since he was completely against it in the first place. Now before I carry on talking about why people hate these couples so much, why not leave us a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, maybe even smash that subscribe button to see more videos like this one. At number 8, Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber. I remember when Selena and Justin were the talk of the town. Everyone was obsessed with their relationship, always asking them questions about their lives together, and news sources were always covering the drama that was going on with them. They started dating in 2011 when they were still teenagers, and from that point they had a rocky time together, which is why years after they've broken up, some fans have grown to hate their relationship because of how toxic it was. Already people were pretty aware of how toxic Selena and Justin's relationship was simply because of how many times they had public breakups and makeups, but in early 2020, Selena came forward to talk more in depth about their relationship and the negativity that she faced. Selena said that she was, quote, a victim of certain mistreatments, saying that what she felt was emotional mistreatment from Justin. She also went on to say that it took her a long time to find strength in her experiences and to shake her, quote, victim mentality. Justin in late 2019 did open up about his actions in past relationships, saying that he became, quote, resentful, disrespectful to women, and angry. Clearly there was a lot of negativity going on, so people really did not like the fact that they were together. At number 7, Tina and Ike Turner. Ike and Tina Turner were a powerhouse couple in the eyes of the media as well as the fans at first, but behind the scenes things were messy and toxic, and once that became publicly known, people started to really hate the relationship. Ike and Tina first met while Tina was still a teenager, and soon they hit it off and started performing together. Soon their duo catapulted them to stardom, bringing them a lot of success, but because they were so close, things got really toxic. They got married in 1962 and stayed together for the following decade, but Tina was living her life in pain. In her book, Tina wrote about how Ike was a toxic partner, saying, quote, "He threw hot coffee in my face, giving me third-degree burns. He used my nose as a punching bag so many times that I could taste blood running down my throat when I sang. He broke my jaw. I couldn't remember what it was like to not have a black eye." End quote. Things got so bad that Tina wanted to end her own life, but thankfully she survived her attempt and used her survival as fuel to get the strength to leave Ike and this toxic life behind. After this horrible relationship was exposed, fans started to rethink their support of this relationship completely. At number 6, Mel Gibson and Oksana Grigorova. Mel Gibson is probably one of the most hated people in Hollywood, so it's no surprise that his relationship would be hated too. Mel was in a toxic relationship with his former partner Oksana Grigorova, and so many people hated it. The two had a very messy breakup in 2010, and at this time an audio recording came out that showed Mel yelling at Oksana and saying horrible things to her about her body because he was mad that she allegedly lied to him about getting breast implants. In the recording, Mel was heard saying things like how he hated the way that she looked, claiming that she looked provocative and inappropriate, and even saying that if she were to be taken advantage of, that it would be her fault for looking the way that she did. This was a nasty, swear word ridden rant that honestly no one deserves to hear. If this recording didn't paint enough of a toxic picture, then I don't know what would. This made people hate this relationship even more than before. At number 5, Mike Tyson and Robin Givens. This relationship was pretty controversial at the time and sort of still is because people really don't know whose side that they want to take, but either way it was toxic and hated by a lot of people. Back in the late 80s, Mike Tyson was dating model Robin Givens. Shortly after they started dating, Robin announced that she was pregnant with Mike's child, and so he married her to, quote, "do the right thing." Mike had given Robin and her mother $15 million in order to get themselves settled in a nice house, and it seemed like Mike took care of them. But after a few months passed, Mike noticed that Robin's pregnancy wasn't progressing, and that's when she told him that she had actually lost the baby months prior and just didn't tell him. He was hurt by this discovery but still stayed by her side. It wasn't until their famous Barbara Walters interview came out that things really cracked for the couple and got really toxic. The interview was originally supposed to be an exclusive with Mike, but apparently before things got started, Robin had pulled Barbara to the side to tell her that she had some things that she wanted to say, and then proceeded to speak out about how Mike had allegedly been hurting her, saying that she was mistreated in the relationship. They divorced soon after, but people believe that the whole truth wasn't uncovered. Sources say that Robin was manipulating Mike and that things had been toxic because of her, but Mike just let it go. This was all over the place, so a lot of people just don't know what to think of it. At number 4, Axl Rose and Erin Everly. The tumultuous relationship of Axl Rose and Erin Everly is one that was pretty hated after allegations started to come out about what went on behind the scenes. Axl and Erin met in the early days of Axl's career, and soon they became inseparable. Erin became one of the most important people in Axl's life, being the inspiration for the song Sweet Child of Mine, and things looked good on the outside. Despite being a good-looking match on the outside though, they had a tumultuous relationship. Even through all of that though, they still ended up getting married in a Las Vegas ceremony in 1990. According to Erin, Axl actually threatened to harm himself if she didn't marry him, so things were already off to a rocky start. The marriage was annulled in 1991, just 9 months after getting married, and in 94, Erin filed a civil lawsuit against Axl where she alleged that she was hurt by her then husband. After that information came out, people started to hate the fact that this relationship was praised for so long. At number 3, Prince Charles and Princess Diana. Prince Charles and Princess Diana were once considered one of the most beloved celebrity couples, and the world loved them. Well, they loved Diana, but soon they became hated because of the rumors surrounding Charles's extramarital affairs. Behind closed doors, Diana was sad and neglected by her husband, but no one knew that until later on. She was always second best in Charles's eyes, having never gotten over his infatuation for Camilla Parker Bowles, a woman that he was told he could never have. Diana regretted marrying Charles because she always knew that there would be 3 in the marriage: her, Charles, and Camilla. So when they got divorced, she was finally free, and the people turned on Charles for being so cruel to Diana. So I guess the people didn't necessarily hate the relationship as a whole, just Charles. At number 2, Chris Brown and Rihanna. One of the most toxic relationships out there was that between Chris Brown and Rihanna, and everyone grew to hate it. No one is quick to forget the incident that happened after the pre-Grammys party in 2009. On the night before the Grammy Awards, Chris and Rihanna got into a serious physical altercation which left Rihanna hospitalized from her injuries. Chris was labeled as a monster for what he did that night. A police investigation was conducted. As a result, he was sentenced to 5 years probation and 6 months community service. A lot of people believe that he should have been given a harsher sentence because of how severely he hurt his girlfriend, and he received a lot of hate. People use this as an example to show people that these relationships should not be so praised, and it caused a lot of people to rethink their support. And finally, at number 1, Saweetie and Quavo. No one really acknowledged it until recently, but singer Saweetie and Quavo had a toxic relationship. Shortly after announcing their breakup, footage was leaked which showed the former couple fighting in an elevator. The footage showed the two of them in a physical altercation, showing Saweetie trying to strike Quavo, a suitcase being thrown, Quavo falling on top of his girlfriend, and ending with Saweetie limping away. Though the footage was from a year ago, it gave people a very different perspective on how the relationship was at the time, and fans started to hate the relationship. Both Saweetie and Quavo have said that they've moved on from the incident, but some fans still haven't moved on from this because they don't want to ever see them try and rekindle that toxicity again.